The CIA agent behind the lie on the Hunter Biden laptop testified that he faked the letter labeling the laptop Russian disinformation and says the request came from none other than Secretary of State Antony Blinkin. The White House continues to cover up for Hunter Biden and his IRS tax crimes. NATO says Ukraine will become a NATO nation once they beat Putin, and Ron DeSantis may have lost the 2024 election before he even announced he was running. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out. Also, at the end of this video, I'll tell you about a $10,000 cash giveaway my wife and I are doing thanks to generous video sponsors. Former CIA official Mike Morell has testified this week that he compiled the famous letter from 51 credible intel officials in order to help discredit the Hunter Biden laptop story right before the 2020 presidential election. The significance of this letter cannot be overstated, as Joe Biden himself used that fake letter to dismiss Donald Trump's accusations during the presidential debates. Do you remember this? Trump brought it up and Biden said, "You're a liar. 51 intel people confirmed this is a fake story. It wasn't fake, and now we know who was behind it and who ordered it, and that person is in the White House right now." Now, according to Morell's testimony, he decided to organize the letter after receiving a private phone call from Antony Blinkin, Biden's current Secretary of State. Morell claimed that he organized the letter to share our concern with the American people and to, quote, help Vice President Biden because I wanted him to win the election. Now, a request for more information regarding the formation of this document has been sent to Morell, but so far he's not giving up additional information. Is this crazy or what? Now, let me know in the comments, is this election interference? Getting 51 former reputable, credible intel people to lie to the American people so that a presidential candidate can then lie on national TV and deceive the American people. Let me know your thoughts down below. To me, this is absolutely crazy. Now, this isn't the only recent shocking news about Hunter Biden. NBC News reported that 2 senior law enforcement whistleblowers have claimed that federal prosecutors have been considering charging the president's son, Hunter, with 2 misdemeanors and 2 felonies related to tax evasion and gun possession. Now, even though the investigation was completed over a year ago, charges have still not been made, which has caused controversy to arise that the Biden administration and White House may be blocking this from going through, basically protecting daddy's little boy. Now, Hunter Biden's lawyer responded to the claims made by the whistleblowers and stated, it is a felony for IRS agents to improperly disclose information about an ongoing tax investigation. It appears this IRS agent has committed a crime and has denied my client protection that are his right. So Hunter Biden's lawyer points to a crime in order to take attention off of his criminal client. Pretty brilliant, right? Now, a new poll shows that only 25% of people want Joe Biden to run for office. That's not good. He's underwater in all 50 states. The other portion say they want somebody new to consider. They want to vote for new blood, right? Lyft rideshare company will lay off 30% of their workforce, 1,200 of which are good paying office jobs. Their stock is down 70%, and they need to cut jobs in order to keep the company doors open. The major stock indexes were all green today, but just barely. Gold and silver were both down, and Bitcoin was down about 3.5% on the day. The banking industry is going through more growing pains, but not in the same way. With the collapse of the SVB bank earlier this year, panic sent tens of billions of dollars out of community banks over into the big 6 banks here in the United States, out of fear that their money would not be protected. However, this fear has abated, and the government ended up bailing out all of those deposits. So now tens of billions of dollars are flowing back out of the big six banks. Since they offer really pitiful interest rates, these community banks are typically able to offer bigger yields in order to compete with the big banks. But so people go to Bank of America and Chase because they're big and solid, but then they give really pitiful interest rates, where the small community banks have to attract people with bigger interest rates. So just be mindful, if you have money at the bank, that you are getting the best rate. A Russian war pilot made a fatal mistake last night. While en route to apparently enter Ukraine, the emergency ejection feature accidentally triggered. This resulted in a rocket being released, which landed on a Russian city near the Ukraine border. The self-inflicted wound was immediately addressed, and it does look like 3 people were killed in the explosion. Although it's possible that a skilled pilot made an honest mistake, there is concern that Russia may be using inexperienced soldiers on the battlefield. This may be due to a failure to fully mobilize, the fact that there's been attrition on both sides of the war. To address this issue differently this time, Russia has launched a video campaign aiming to attract experienced pilots. The campaign portrays normal life as dull and war as exciting in order to encourage men to enlist and go off to war. Now, Russia will likely continue to escalate as NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has just claimed that Ukraine will join NATO in the future. He stated Ukraine's future is in the Euro-Atlantic family, and all NATO allies have agreed that Ukraine will become a NATO member. However, Stoltenberg claimed that Ukraine can only become a member of NATO when they beat Russia. So he stated the main focus now is ensuring that President Putin doesn't win the war, that Ukraine prevails, because without a sovereign, independent Ukraine, there is no meaning in discussing membership. So basically, in order to get NATO's protection against Russia, they have to beat Russia in war, and Russia's much better at war than Ukraine, which means they'll probably never become a member of NATO. So it's kind of just talking points. But anyway, they're saying they will become a NATO nation. AP News has just claimed that the United States will also be training Ukrainian forces on how to properly use the Abram tanks that we will be providing. Current estimates suggest that the Ukrainian forces may not be able to use the tanks until late July because they don't know how to use them. So we've got to give them the tanks, train them on how to use it, and then have an entire team to maintain those tanks so that they can then go into battle. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis may have missed the presidential boat by waiting too long to announce his run for presidency. 11 Florida lawmakers have come out publicly to endorse Donald Trump, and many billionaires say they don't plan to throw any money behind Ron DeSantis' campaign, as he hasn't stood up to Trump as much as he has stood up to Biden. So basically, Ron DeSantis has been running his mouth, some of it brilliant, some of it maybe a little overkill, to fight against Biden. But until he stands up to Trump, nobody sees him as macho or alpha male enough to become president if he can't even stand up to Donald Trump. So anyway, I don't know what's going to happen. He may still announce. According to the White House, Biden will be announcing that he plans to run as an 82-year-old male in 2024, and he believes that he will be the sitting incumbent and be the next president of the United States, or the continued president of the United States. Now, Casey and I are giving away $10,000 in cash thanks to generous video sponsors. One of you is going to win $5,000 in cash, and 5 of you are going to win $1,000 in cash. We're so excited to be able to give this money away at the end of the month. So make sure to follow that link. Only takes about 20 seconds to go get registered. You could be the winner, and we're excited to give that money away. Now, before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. Make sure to check out this video. YouTube suppressed it. I then edited it and re-released it, and they suppressed it even more. So there must be something in it they don't want you to hear. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video.